Hey there, attorney Michael Silverman from the law firm of Silverman Bain. We just kicked off the month of November, which means it's the start of my self-proclaimed Medicare DME Supplier Standard Awareness Month. A provider looking at all 30 of these supplier standards in full, especially with how broad and vague some of them are, heck, it's enough to make their heads understandably spin. And that's why over the next 30 videos, we'll be diving in a standard at a time to discuss what the requirements are and examples of where we see providers regularly run into trouble. What better place to start the fun than with Medicare DME Supplier Standard number 1. This supplier standard's a perfect example of a very broad and all-encompassing standard, essentially requiring that suppliers act in compliance with all applicable federal and state licensure and regulatory requirements. Well, what in the world does that actually mean? Looking at the federal regulatory aspect of supplier standard number 1, for example, think about accessibility to your facility. If an individual presents to your facility in a wheelchair, for example, that's looking to receive services, do they have the ability to access your facility? Are there stairs? If you have stairs, do you have either a fixed or a portable wheelchair ramp to ensure that you can accommodate them? If not, we're going to be deficient with supplier standard number 1. Now that example of deficiency is pretty readily correctable. However, looking at the state licensure requirements, we're either complying with that requirement at the time of service or we're not, and it's pretty hard to put that genie back in the bottle. State licensure requirements, both for facilities themselves as well as individual professional requirements, vary from state to state. Certain jurisdictions, I'm talking about you, New York, require very, very little licensure for many of products that would be provided in that state. Other states, such as California, require state-issued DME or HME facility licenses for a wide variety of products. Providers need to ensure that they comply with the state licensure requirements for their facility in each and every state in which they are providing DMEPOS, which again can vary pretty wildly. Additionally, professional licensure requirements are encompassed by supplier standard number 1. Think about certain states that may require you to have a respiratory therapist, for example, on staff or as a contractor for providing CPAP and ensuring that the machine is properly set up and the individuals are adequately trained. Providers need to ensure before providing DMEPOS that they are intimately familiar with both the state business requirements as well as the individual professional requirements, because after you've provided a date of service, either you've complied or you haven't complied with that requirement, and it's pretty hard to put that genie back in the bottle, and that's where we oftentimes see PTAN revocations. Now, without further ado, stick with us for our next video as we dive into supplier standard number 2. See you there.